You've been watching the developments in the Ukraine war very closely to try and understand or get signals on what Beijing could do to Taiwan. We're 7 weeks in, nearly 7 weeks in. What is your assessment now?
We're still watching. And as far as we can see, Beijing is also watching in a very careful way, in seeing what they can learn from the war in Ukraine. And it's not just Beijing and Taipei who are watching the war in Ukraine. I'm sure the major countries in the world are all watching very carefully on what they can learn from this terrible war in Ukraine. There's several things we have learned. First is that determination for self-defense is absolutely important. And we are re-examining ourselves. And we are also checking with our regular citizens to see whether they are more determined to defend Taiwan. And we find that the people here in Taiwan are more determined to defend the country than ever. So this is something not just the government of Taiwan has learned, it's also the regular people here in Taiwan that has learned. And the second thing is whether the like-minded countries, the democracies, can unite together to deter or to defeat authoritarianism. And what we find is that democracies are more united than ever.
Taiwan's Moscow office was the conduit to some of the other European or Eastern European countries which didn't have an office, including Ukraine. What happens to that now that Taiwan is on the list of Russia's unfriendly countries?
Our office in Moscow still operates, even though it's not a big office, but that office has been functioning rather well. For example, when the crisis started in February this year, we encouraged our citizens in Ukraine to leave the country, and it's our office in Moscow provided the kinds of contact and liaison effort, and then provided assistance for them to be able to leave Ukraine. And they've done a very effective job in having our citizens all leave Ukraine, except for one. So our office there has been carrying a very important mission for us. It's not just serving as a liaison in between Taiwan government and the Russian government, but it's also a very important organization to make sure our citizens in that area stays protected by the Taiwanese government. And I'm sure it will continue to operate in Moscow.
Security analysts say it'll be about 5 years, given China's development of its weapons, particularly its amphibious weaponry, 5 years before China makes a move, far more aggressive move, even invades Taiwan. Is that the same timeline the Taiwan government is working with?
We don't work with that kind of timeline. There are many analyses by the Western military experts or government officials or Indo-PACOM officials. They are looking at different time periods where China may launch attack against Taiwan. But the way we look at it is that what China has been doing is very obvious already. And what they say is very obvious already, that they have the ambition to take Taiwan over by military force if necessary. So we need to watch out at any moment that China may launch an attack against Taiwan. They may come next year, they may come 3 years afterward, or they may come in 5 years. But no matter when China is going to attack Taiwan, what we need to make sure is that Taiwan is ready. Taiwan is ready to defend itself. And this is the reason why we want to procure defensive articles from the United States constantly, so that Taiwan is able to defend itself.
You've always emphasized that peace and stability is the goal. Now, as Taiwan's top diplomat, you're the foreign minister, what kind of engagements or conversations are you having with China to ensure Taiwan's security?
The Chinese government don't want to talk to us. They just want to threaten us. So they sealed virtually all channels of communication. And that makes the Taiwan Strait situation more threatening or more unstable than before. And it's not just between Taiwan and the United States. I think major democracies in the world are having difficulties in speaking to the Chinese government in a meaningful way on how to maintain peace and stability over the Taiwan Strait. The fact is that China has become more authoritarian than ever. And all the power is centered in one person. And when that person is not willing to dedicate his power to his bureaucracies, it is very difficult for other countries to have meaningful dialogues with China.